Okay, let me share my screen first. Okay, so now it's 9 o'clock. So we start our Wednesday Zoom meeting. Thank you all coming tonight. And so this is a very great honor to have a Dr. Linda Goggin, a famous American doctor, as a guest speaker tonight. So let me introduce her to all of you. So she is the author of the Feel Good Again. And Dr. Linda Goggin is a family medicine specialist in Belgium, Washington. She has over 23 years of experience in the medical field. She is a board certified family physician with the extensive training in functional medicine and complex medical illness. She helps clients dive deep into the root cause to balance hormonal systems. Tonight, she will share her experience of using LifeWave products as a medical profession, how she viewed the LifeWave products and the patching in clinical setting. So welcome, Dr. Linda Goggin. So I pass to you.
Thank you so much, Susanna. Well, and you all know that we look to Susanna to learn to lead, right? When we're trying to develop systems, Susanna sets the bar so high, and her amazing leadership is something we are looking to try and copy. So you are so lucky that you have Susanna to be leading you. And I'm so appreciative to be here with this amazing group. Wow, I love it. This is the first time that I've talked to multiple countries. So
yes, we
wow.
are over 100 guests in the Zoom now.
Woo! Good job, you guys.
So,
good job.
Welcome you. I'm so great to have you with us tonight. Really happy. So you know that all of you must appreciate Dr. Linda wake up at 5 in order to prepare the Zoom meeting for us. Now it's 6 a.m. in US.
I always get up pretty early though. So I usually get up early. So it's no problem. And I am so happy. In fact, the next time we have a meeting, I want to meet you guys. Okay, we've got to get together. Susanna and I met at the last meeting, and look what she gave me. This is such an amazing book, you guys. I imagine most of people have seen this, right, Susanna? Yeah, this is an incredible resource, especially if you are, because we're talking tonight about how you can bring practitioners in and how practitioners can join and help their patients get better faster. So I'm going to go ahead and begin a slideshow for you that talks about a few things. I want to help you understand how a practitioner might use the patches, and also the specifics of when you're in a busy clinic, you may need to keep it simple. So that's one, keep it simple if possible. And also to instill your belief that LifeWave really is something that will change the world, okay? So I think the more we believe that, the easier it is to share with other people, okay? So using LifeWave patches in a clinic or business, I think the first thing is that everybody, my slides are a little bit out of order. I'm going to jump past this. Here we go. Hang on, let me back up. I'm going to have I shared the wrong slideshow. Hang on a second. One moment. Let me just grab my
No
other
problem. No problem.
I was
Take your
just
time.
editing. Yeah, that's right. I was just editing my slideshow right before this. I'll talk a little bit about this while I edit what seems to be I put out of order. So you guys, the important thing to think about as you're trying to consider bringing in a practitioner into the fold is that we want to make sure here, I'm stopping my share while I'm fixing this, is that we want to make sure that number one, it is easy. The idea is easy for them, because when we are seeing 25 people a day, or even 10 people a day, you don't have a lot of extra time. And we want to be able to share it quickly and create a system so that we can follow up easily. Okay. So it's all about systems, right? And I think that when we consider using systems, it makes it so much easier. All right. So I'm almost there here for you guys. Sorry, everybody. Okay, here we go. Okay, so sorry. All right, so here we go. So we want to develop a system with practitioners so it makes it clear, easy, simple, and they don't have to take a lot of extra time. Now some people who have a slower business, right? They have an hour to spend with a client. That's okay to use complex patching protocols, but in general, we want to keep it quick. Even doctors want to design their own lives. People who are in the healing arts, we all want this, right? And so this is a way that practitioners who are still working in that, I work 1 hour, I make a certain amount, can start to create more of their own life and help them to get the things we all want, right? We want security, we want joy, we want freedom, and we want to heal ourselves and others. And I think this is really where a practitioner can take LifeWave and change so many lives. When you see many people in a day, and every time you put a little patch on them, boop, they can feel so much better, so much more quickly. We help them heal faster, grow stronger, look and feel younger, and also create more time for ourselves and them, and financial freedom in their business. So this is all using this amazing, right? You guys know it, patented light biotechnology. I want to tell a little story first. Okay, long ago in the late 1800s, there was a priest and the head of a university at a dinner party. All right, the priest said, "We've already learned everything we can possibly learn. It's all downhill from here. There's nothing further that we can invent." And the university, the head of the university said, no, there's all kinds of amazing things that will come in the future. One day we are going to fly in the air. And in the 1800s, that was a very weird idea, like to fly in the air like birds. Well, a couple of decades later, the priest's two sons, the Wright brothers, invented the airplane, right? So I think it's important all of us embrace this idea that we are on the edge of an amazing technological breakthrough and communicate that to doctors and people who are healers, because they can help spread the word so well. Understanding that practitioners can excel in LifeWave because their clients are getting better faster. We have better patient outcomes. If a surgeon uses the X39 patches near the surgical site, scars will heal faster. They will have people that are happier and will get more referrals. It adds revenue to their, right now they're 1-to-1, and you all know the benefit of multiplication, right? When we have a team, and when you bring someone in that's seeing a lot of people, they're putting a lot of patches on. There's more people to patch. And with helping and healing as our whole LifeWave focus, that's what we are, right, Susanna? Susanna, I hear you, and I hear your helping focus, your love focus, that focus on trying to create possibility. And we create new healing possibilities when we bring people in. So the challenges to using LifeWave in a busy clinic, really, it's the clock. It is time. We need to have a system for sharing. And who knows what system stands for? There it is. Saving yourself stress, time, energy, and money. That's the system, okay? So that's why it's so important that we create systems for multiple areas of our business, right? You guys have an excellent training system, right? Susanna makes it easy for you to just plug in. When I've brought in practitioners, sometimes, particularly an overachiever doc, they want to learn it all, and then they feel overwhelmed. And that is really, it's a surefire recipe for them saying, no, I can't do it, okay? So we want to have a system for them to slowly be indoctrinated and begin to use it in a small way, so they begin to develop the belief, because we all need to have our own stories, and having your own story is one of the most important things. So this is a good moment for you to tell me for me to tell you my story. And so I was working in my clinic, and I had a patient who brought me, a little patch, right? And they said, this made my pain go away. I thought, well, and it's a light patch. I said, well, there's no light in this patch, right? And what is a doctor going to say? They're going to think critically about it and go, I don't understand, because it's such a new idea. And the doctor will have to look into the science. And I think that when we think about who's most open-minded here, naturopathic doctors are extremely open-minded. Integrative, holistic, and functional medicine doctors, very open-minded. And sometimes we're getting conventional medical physicians who are open-minded to take a look and say, no side effects, no risk to the patient, it can't hurt them. And look at all of the stories, the amazing stories that we have of people healing faster. And so that's what's going to bring people in. And when somebody brought me the patch, I said, okay, I'm open-minded. I would give this a try, because I have some pain. I had pain in my foot. I had broken my foot when I was in my 20s. Probably I broke my foot once. I broke my ankle at least 3 times playing basketball. I was very active. And a doctor told me I would never run without pain. Okay. Doctors should never say that to their patients, right? And so, yeah, I know. They shouldn't say that. So I believed that. Well, and decades later, I did not run. I could not run. And I also was quite sick and tired. In fact, in my office, I was telling people to exercise, yet I could not exercise, right? Because of the pain, and because I was so exhausted from my life, right? And when I took the patch, I'm like, I'm going to just try this. And after a few days, I noticed that my foot felt better. And I thought, maybe I could actually jog, because I knew I wanted to exercise. Exercise is so important for us to feel better. Moving energy through the body, that is really what exercise does, is it gets energy moving. And so I began to use the patches. And then after about a week, I'm like, I think I could jog. Then I learned about the X39 patch. And this was right at the beginning when the X39 patch had just come out. And after, a little while with the X39, maybe 3 or 4 weeks, I began to feel this upwelling of energy. And I was able to, I forgot to mention that my fatigue was so deep that we bought a house with a wheelchair ramp. We bought a house with a wheelchair ramp because I could see that I was declining quickly. My nurse was in my office. My nurse was supporting me to be able to see all these patients. I couldn't have done it without my nurse. Thank goodness for nurses, right? And I was so tired that I was unable to read to my kids. I could not carry them upstairs. My husband had to do it. And so for me to have the idea that I could exercise again, it was huge. It was so life-changing. And then over the next 18 months, I got so strong that I could run a half marathon. Now, never in a million years would we have expected that because of how I felt before. And so this is the potential of using those patches. And if doctors start to feel better themselves, right? And they're open-minded enough to take a patch and put it on, it can change many, many lives because the doctor feels better. The doctor can take care of more people. The doctor is able to share the word. And so let's talk about how do we create a system where a doctor can quickly share, okay? And that is what I would call the quick share, okay? While complex, and this is at the end of a visit, typically, because what happens if you open the topic up at the beginning of the visit, there's so much to say, right? And it can take you away from your guiding patients in a medical sense, right? We always have lots of great advice to give people, right? And so what I would do when you're teaching your practitioners, this is probably different than acupuncturists because acupuncturists would use them in a special way. But when you're talking to someone who's in a busy clinic, seeing people for basic medical problems, I would save it till the end of the visit. And here is the quick share. I have something that may help you heal faster. It's a phototherapy patch. Would you like me to give you a sample and send you more information? Uniformly, people will say, of course, yes. And so this is a way that you can share. Now, if you're in a online office, like a health coach, at the end of your health coaching time, you say the same thing. And though you might not share a sample, and even in office, you might not share a sample, but you still can say, I have something that may help you heal faster. It's a phototherapy patch. It activates stem cells. Would you like me to send you more information? Okay. And then what we want is an easy way to share the information because all of you know, if we give 4 to 5 touches with a follow-up, and so this counts as just a touch, right? This is a touch point. We know that with this product, people will have 80% of people will convert, and I feel like it is higher than that when their practitioner has shared with them because a practitioner is the trusted source. So that's how you share. And then what we can do is let the office staff tell them. So maybe if you don't have an office staff, that's okay. You say these things. And in this way, we set expectations because while you all know the patches work great, everybody knows not everybody feels the results right away, right? So we must set expectations and say, hey, you might not feel anything at first, right? These are going to activate your stem cells for healing. And we recommend at least a 3-month trial to see how your body will respond. Then this is the next interesting idea that I think is new that can make it so much easier for a practitioner. And let's say they're going to give a 3 to 5 patch sample gift. Is it okay if we send you text reminders of when to put on and take off the patch for 3 days? People will universally agree to this, right? If you're only going to send me texts for 3 days, that's okay, right? And so then there's a tool that we're using, and it makes it easy. At that point, the office staff will just send the person a text. There's a link that the person will opt in to a short series of texts that remind them to put them on and take them off with some testimonies. And at the end of that, there's a last text that invites them to a presentation. You can even have a follow-up text that's a little later that that reminds them that where they can get the patches. I think that it's really nice if an office staff, after they've used them for a few days, follows up and says, hey, how's it going with the patches? And let's get you some ordered. That's that. And so this is what ManyChat looks like. Okay. Are you familiar with ManyChat, Susanna? Have you used this ManyChat ever?
I did not use ManyChat. We most likely use the Telegram and also WhatsApp.
Right. So ManyChat has a WhatsApp in it. It's just basically a bot maker. So what it does is it will create a sequence that will be sent. And so, like, for instance, the welcome. These are quick texts to guide you with the X39 patch. Let's get your stem cells going. And then you can attach a testimony below that they can click and watch. And then there's smart delays, so it'll wait until the appropriate time. And then, then the next one will say something like, how are you feeling? Any aches or pains? How's your energy been? Don't forget to remove the patch at bedtime. So we are focusing with this sequence on salons. So because of the potential for hair growth. So this one is directed towards salons. So there's hair testimonies. And then there's another smart delay. And if you have another LifeWave patch, put it on now. And this is a way that you can let practitioners, you take the pressure off of them, the burden off of them to educate further, and that is helpful when people are busy. Okay. So when we think about what's the ideal work experience, because we all want this, we want flexibility, we want work to bring meaning and the joy of clearly helping people. That makes work so rewarding. And all of you, I know I'm preaching to the choir because you guys all are trying to take advantage of this part. Well, doctors and people who are in the healthcare, they also want all these things too. And many times physicians, when will be realizing that they're going to have to keep working and keep working. This is a way that you can help them to create their dream life also and help more people get people better faster. So I think that one of the challenges, and this is something as you are meeting people, I think this is one of the challenges here, that really personal growth is absolutely required, right? We have to learn a little bit of a new skill set when we're, sharing LifeWave. And so this is something that may be true for providers. And I think that we want to look for providers that have the growth mindset, are open-minded, are interested in new things and new ideas. Because the fact is that the people who are like, I'm only doing the therapies that have huge randomized double-blind control trials and nothing that is on the edge of medicine, because we are on the edge of the new medicine. And so it's not really worth trying to convince anyone. We are looking for the people who are open-minded, who are interested in energetics, energy medicine. That's why really the people who are doing resonance medicine, naturopaths, acupuncturists, functional medicine doctors, they're more likely to say, yes, definitely. That's something I'd like to take a look at. So that's really an easier bunch to break into. I'm not saying I know plenty of conventional MDs like myself who are using this, right? But we just have to find the ones who are open-minded, and we keep on spewing rainbows out of our head, right? And staying positive, because sometimes people say, oh, if this is network marketing or relationship marketing, I'm not really interested. And the other approach with a with someone who's not interested in networking is that they can just retail this out of their offices, right? And for me, that was how I started. I just began to place patches and sent people to my website. That's all. Place patch, sent them to my website. And that in that way, I developed a little residual income coming in. And then I met the people and saw how powerful the company was. And if I were to build a team, how many more people I would be able to help. The other thing about bringing in a physician is that you're going to add some credibility to your team. It's a great team member. I've heard people saying doctors don't duplicate. Why would we bring doctors onto the team? Because they try and do all these specific things. They do duplicate when we teach them the right way, and that is to keep it simple. Sometimes it's hard. I just want a few things to garner, and I know we're going to talk more about specific patching, but I want to just help your belief. How are we successful in relationship marketing, network marketing? The right team, the right company. You guys, you are on the right team. And this is clearly the right company. And, you know, we must be a product of the product. And that is part of the journey with doctors, is having them use the product and feel better. Many times it helps their health so much. That's when they develop the belief and they really start to patch people. I didn't begin to patch people until I had my results. So as a customer, maybe the place to start. We must be a product. And I just love seeing transformations like this when people use the X39. And if you understand that sales is service, we stop being shy. Okay. Sales is service. We are helping people as we change their lives with LifeWave. There's simple skills we have to learn. You guys all know those simple skills you're learning at your LifeWave University. And then embracing relationship marketing as a business plan. This is just a business plan. Okay. When people go, I don't know about that network marketing, we just share, it's a simple business plan where the store comes to your house, right? And you have a friend who's recommending the product, or someone you trust recommending the product. And then the other thing I think is important is that income actually matches personal growth. And that is so important. If you want to, if we want to boost that income into the 6-figure income, we need to become 6-figure people. We need to grow in our reaching out, in our ability to help, our bravery, and our belief that this is something to change lives, right? And we're all playing the long game. I think that because we all have to get that story so that we are feeling more confident, we're thinking long term, trying to say, well, maybe it's right now I'm planting the seeds that will grow later, okay? And the focus of all of this is helping others, as Susanna has so beautifully put out. I love when Susanna, when you talked at the convention, it's just so clear how huge your heart is and how huge your team's heart is. And I think that this is the focus that helps us make a big difference in people's lives. So this really is a magic carpet for you and a magic carpet for people's health, right? When we think of if you go to a rug store and buy an old rug, put it on the floor, well, the person you bought it from may not have told you it was a magic carpet, right? And so what if you take that magic carpet and flew it? And so this requires a paradigm change. And using light technology requires a paradigm change for doctors who have always just used medicines and surgery. We all want something that is safer, doesn't have a pharmaceutical, if possible, right? We'd all like to heal people with lifestyle. And this gives those people the leg up, right? Because they begin to feel better first. And one of the challenges of being a physician, right, is that people come in and you say, okay, you need to eat right and exercise, but like exercise and movement, if you're having pain and you're tired or you're not sleeping or you have inflammation, all these things keep people from following good advice. And so when we considered that we can help them feel better first by using some patches, that can bring them to be able to follow our advice, get better faster. And I think that the rest of these slides, let me just see, I'm going to flip through them. Right. Of course, you guys know it's patented biotech, changing the trajectory. We change the trajectory of people's lives. If somebody starts a patch today, if your client, you, your mom, your grandma, your friend starts a patch today, their whole life will be different, right? It completely changes the potential of that life, how long they're going to be able to contribute to society, to play with their kids. And, you know, practitioners are the same way. Of course, it's a billion-dollar industry. You guys know that too. And without stem cells, we age faster, heal slower. And that's the important thing. Aging faster, healing slower. No one wants that. And then this company, of course, you guys know the huge heart for caring for brand partners and customers, and the humanitarian efforts. Woo, love the drone, so cool. And then I think that this is important. Earning is directly linked to healing. And that's the main reason, I think, why we need more practitioners within this field, is so that we're able to bring the healing to people. And so I encourage you guys all to, you know, really take advantage of your community, and we're going to shine. Let's all shine, right? And get with the person who shared this video with you. All right, reach out to them, because they have so much good information about how, you know, if you are a practitioner, how you could use this in your clinic. And now I want to talk a little specifically, you know, this is kind of an open table. I'm happy to take some questions. And then I want to mention, so this Susanna's book, it really is an incredible resource. Now, if you go to someone though who's way busy and they say, oh, well, gosh, I'm going to have to do this. Well, this does make it so you could look up an issue and just select the patches and say, you just place them here. And that is extremely helpful. Now, if you're going to do this in the clinic, you'd have to add a little bit of extra time to your visits. My strategy has been, with my clients, and most of my business right now is online. However, I do have a couple of days in the clinic. If I always have a combination of X39, Eon, and IceWave in my office, because that's sort of the trifecta for removing pain quickly. Okay. And so, for instance, if someone came in with an area that was hurting, I would be applying the X39. On top of that, I'd be applying the Eon patch. And sometimes I will actually stack IceWave, so tan, white, Eon, X39. And so especially if there's one point that is bothering a person, and that is I'm not sure why that works so well, but when someone has a significant pain, stacking can be very effective. That if you have time to do the clock method, I think that is great. But I will be placing X39 at the area that hurts, and using the Eon, you know, right there also. And I mean, I'll do the clock method if I have some time. On the face, I'm going to be usually stacking. And then I think that when we look at people with lots of issues, those are the folks that, if there's any way I can get them to begin to use the X39 with the X49, I feel like that just moves them forward quickly. Usually I'll start the X39 first, and then make sure for a few days they're good, feeling good, and so that they notice the X39, and then add the X49. It's so important that we have people track, right? They need to track, use that LifeWave optimization tracker to be able to see the changes, because it's often gradual. And then can't overemphasize, follow-up is critical. If you share patches, you have to have a way to follow up with people. And so that is something I think that is so important. Now, let's see. I can't hear you, Susanna. If you want to, I'd love to open it up to some questions, even about specific things.
So after listen your presentation, I'm so glad to have you with us, because tonight you are not only share the clinical side, you also share the business side. So how you do the business, and then how you're very excellent is insight, give us a lot of insights. So I'm so happy you with us tonight. And I want to know that I think I open for them to open the mic. Maybe someone, if you want to ask some question, you can type in the chat box so I can read out. Or if someone you want to ask Dr. Linda, so you can raise up your hand, and then I will call your name, because here is over 170 people. So it's hard for me to
Yeah.
Okay, so let me see.
Okay, so let me know if there are questions, because I can talk about different things.
Yes, of course.
Yes. So let me talk about, I'm going to, can I share my screen again while
Of course, you share your screen. Okay.
While you're coming up with some questions,
yes.
Let me just go ahead and I'll share.
Okay, maybe all of you type the question in the chat box. This will make it easier for us.
Awesome.
Okay.
So yes, and so I'm going to just share something called activating the vagus. I think this is so important for people to understand. All of us, most of us, are in a state of what we call fight or flight, right? Within our lives, we tend to be running. And part of our nervous system is the sympathetic nervous system, is the fight or flight. And what we want to do is help people get out of fight or flight and get into healing. Okay, so if this is health and feeling great, doctors are trying to move people out of injury and get them back to the healthy state, right? And many times we are stuck in this state, and our body is giving messages that don't allow us to get better. Susanna, stop me at any point when you have some questions. So I'm going to warn you guys, this was a doctor presentation I recently gave, and they're a little bit busy, but I think that you will understand. I think that you can listen to it, just let it wash over you. How do we figure these things out? We are looking to nature. We look to biological systems that live a long time, right? And trying to understand how those systems do it. Like, how do lobsters get stronger as they age? How can planaria regrow parts of their body, right? And when we understand how things like how the queen bee lives 50 to 60 times longer, well, this is done by instructions. Your body gives itself instructions. What we need to do is we are changing the instructions our body is giving itself, right? And that is through tiny molecules like peptides. Peptides are tiny little molecules that tell our DNA, they turn on and off DNA. That's how GHK-Cu works. It's a tiny information molecule. It's instructions that tell your body what to do. All right, so I think we got some good questions, and we're using light to do this. And what I'm going to do, I'm opening up the chat to look. Okay, great. Okay, I'm just going to take it from the top down. Kidney stones, which patches to use to help kidney stones. So with kidney stones, I would be looking at Now, of course, we can't make any medical claims. These help tap into the body's own wellness. We're using light to tap into the body's own wellness, and we know that lots of things can get better. So which patches would we use for kidney pain, kidney stones? This is a time when I would be looking toward the kidney meridian, and and so I would be looking for tender points on the kidney meridian and using the energy enhancer patches. Okay. Also, the Eon patch could be very helpful. So but what you want to do is look for the kidney meridian, and then, because we're talking about something specific, finding the tender points. The white and the kidney meridian is mirrored on both sides of the body. And you're going to put the white on the right, the tan on the left. The Eon patch reduces inflammation. If you're having a kidney stone pain acutely, I would be using the LifeWave also. And that would be in the area of the kidney. I would use the clock method to try and identify the best place. And, this is a time also where the X39 and the X49 can be helpful, because the X49 helps blood flow, you guys. It helps blood flow. And so I would probably be using the X39 and the X49 in the area of the kidney. You can't see where I'm patting. But that's where I would be placing that. And then let's talk about arthritis, okay? Because this is, I think, the universal issue. And talking about arthritis and how do we heal from arthritis? One thing people think is that if they have a bad-looking X-ray, that they will have pain. Part of pain comes from a blockage in energy flow, okay? And so that is the part that the LifeWave and the energy enhancer can help. The energy enhancer was the first patch, and they developed the LifeWave from the energy enhancer because people noticed an improvement in pain when they put the energy enhancers on. So the LifeWave, if we're going to try and help arthritis, I would be focusing on the area. When I asked David Schmidt about about joints and improving joint health. And what David Schmidt told me, and I love it to get it from the horse's mouth, is that there was an orthopedist, that's a bone doctor, who had a degenerative joint issue. And what the orthopedist did was put glutathione on one side of the joint, carnosine on the other side of the joint. And this was actually before the X39. Now, of course, we'd add the X39. And over the long term, that orthopedist saw an improvement in his X-ray, actually looked better. So that's interesting, but that is a case study. But I would be using glutathione and carnosine and the X39. And then if we need something for pain, we're adding the LifeWave patch. Now, when we're having back and shoulder pain, okay, LifeWave didn't help. So this is a time where, for back pain, it's so important when we're having pain in our back and our shoulder that we are working on our posture too. I have found that very simple posture exercises, that sometimes back pain is perpetuated, kept going by posture issues. So you do want to be doing posture issues. And here's a little posture exercise for you, right? If we put our hands up in a V, like, V for victory, and then bring them down to our sides in a W, and then our thumbs going back. And this helps to strengthen the back, right? So we're trying to stand up straight, thinking about good posture. It's important for the nerves and muscles to start to release. And then what we'd like to do is left side back shoulder pain. Definitely we want X39 at the base of the neck. That's the place I would put it, unless you have a very sharp pain that is specific. And then I would be using a combination of the LifeWave with putting Eon patches on top. Okay, so I think that would help. Now understand that that may take time, and just working on that posture can also be very helpful. I've had at least 3 people who had long-standing decades of back pain, who, when we did this combination with posture exercises, they started to really improve. Now, I love this question about the hair loss, right? How can X39 help with hair loss? If someone is dealing with hair loss, what we want to do is turn on younger genes, because when we were younger, we were growing hair, right? And the X39 does that. It is absolutely essential for max benefit is that you do the performance bundle with the X49, because the X49 is increasing gives you instructions to grow hair, and that's called AHKCU. The peptide that's made when you put on X49 and make sure that you're having enough protein, right? We know the X49 works better. If you are vegan, you want to consider a protein supplement that has leucine in it. But it gives specific instructions. And when they compared in a medical trial, AHKCU, the peptide that's increased by X49, to minoxidil, a very popular pharmaceutical drug for hair growth, it was as good as minoxidil. Okay, that's not a LifeWave study. So understanding that AHKCU specifically will help with hair. And if you use that combination, you take your before and after pictures, your eyebrows, your hair all over. I had to start to shave my legs. Too much information. So that will definitely bring some results, as long as you're getting adequate protein. Very important. Making sure you're hydrated. Okay. And then we also see a shift in hair color. I had more gray when I started to use these patches than I do now. It's because we're turning on the younger genes. You know, I feel 10 years younger, at least 10 years younger, so much better than I felt. And it is because of the deep effects it has on your genes. This is an interesting question. Talking about kidney cancer that has spread. Now, when I think of the patches and cancer, it's also important, as in the same breath I say, we cannot make any medical claims. It's really important. And we see people feeling better with the patches, right? I mean, that is the thing, is how do we get people feeling better? And the X39 does turn on some tumor suppressor genes. Now, we find this not from LifeWave's data, but from the Harvard study that was done by Lauren Picard, looking at which genes get turned on with X39. And so there are tumor suppressor genes that are turned on, and anti-inflammatory genes. So that makes X39 very helpful with managing symptoms. I also love Eon for managing symptoms as well. So if I could give everybody that Y-age trio, I feel like that with the X39 is so beautiful to help to create more wellness, create more normalcy in the body. Let's see, next question. Okay. X39 patch with uterine fibroid. This is one I haven't come up against, right? I think that it is with uterine fibroids, this is generally an issue with the processing of estrogen. Okay, so our body, instead of normal processing of estrogen, we have an imbalance of the different types. Maybe we're not clearing it as well. So this is a time when I would be really thinking about glutathione. Of course, the patches will work better when you're eating super healthy and eating a healthy diet, which in my mind is a lot, and I mean 6 to 9 cups of fresh veggies. And with uterine fibroids, I would be suggesting a lot of fresh veggies. So 6 to 9 cups, people go, ah, that's so much, but that can be very helpful. But it will also help you in processing your estrogen. Broccoli sprouts, very good for helping process estrogen. And so we think of the liver and glutathione for helping with that. So that would be a combination of using the glutathione, and the X39 for sure, because we want to turn on reduced inflammation and help our detoxification systems. And so that would be the combination I would pick. And where would we patch? X39, I'd probably be using below the belly button for that, and I would probably be placing the glutathione right next to it. Okay, there's a protocol. I'm just reading the questions. Patches in the day, patches in the night. I love this question. So here's a question. Can you wear patches all day if you're changing the patches out? So that we see on many of the protocols where people suggest wearing like a few patches in the day and then a few patches at night. Is that okay? And does that give the on and off, that signal that you need? The on-off signal is specific to patches. So X39 on, X39 off. So it is okay for you to use 3 different patches in the day and 3 different patches in the night, and that satisfies the on-off requirement. Our bodies will get used to a single patch if we wear it all the time. Sometimes when I initially put patches on someone and they feel so much better, right? At that first application, many times I will leave it on for longer than 12 hours because they're still feeling good. And many times when they take it off, they'll be like, oh no, it's back. So the initial application, you can leave it on for longer than that. In horses, right, we leave the patches on until they fall off. So what I generally say is for someone, if they're getting relief, they can leave the patch on until it's not working, then they'll take off for 12 hours and then start the on-off cycle. Also, I personally am using patches longer than 12 hours. That's just me, right? The company, because when they did the testing, they only said 12 hours on, 12 hours off. That's the way to do it. That is how we do it. But I think when we do it a little bit longer, we probably are still getting benefit, you guys. Okay. Okay. Which patches would I recommend for stroke patient from a burst blood vessel in the brain? Definitely the performance bundle, X39, X49. And then the reason those 2 is because we need nerve repair. We know the X39 turns on genes that help to heal nerves. And the X49 helps the blood flow a little bit better, right? It actually it helps with the lining of the blood vessels so that blood will flow more smoothly through it. So X39, 49, the other things, I would be using the YH trio. I would probably be using the YH trio daily for a little while to see how things are going. There's groups who are giving patching protocols that have some, and then I'd probably be looking in Susanna's book to see exactly what is suggested, because I know there's amazing things suggested within the book. But I think that the nice thing about this book is that it used a clinical tool that we can use to evaluate acupuncture meridians, and evaluate the body's energy flow and what's happening with this issue and this patch. So it's really quite a great tool. All right. When we're thinking about still cancer that has moved throughout the body, we in general don't want to use on the day of treatment. I think that's the usual, is that we would not patch X39 on the day of treatment. Susanna, have you heard that before? If you're getting radiation or chemotherapy.
Yes, because the chemotherapy and it will also to actually destroy our cell, actually. So when we put on the patch on the same time, the effective is not like normal. So
Right,
that's
right.
why we will suggest, if you want, of course you can put, but the result actually will be reduced.
Right. So you might not get as much oomph from your treatment. So on the day of, you don't. But I think that after 24, 48 hours, at that point, I think it's okay to start at that point to patch. And then using right now the Eon, the X39, the glutathione, and Nirvana. This is a time when I'm still always looking to that YH trio. So the only thing that I would say is that carnosine can be very helpful, because carnosine can help with nerve issues, with healing. So that YH clover would be something worth trying. And what's nice is these really can be used indefinitely. I know that me and my patches, we will be together forever. So the Silent Night might be considered. You're using Nirvana for sleep, and I imagine you tried the Silent Night too. Silent Night helping with melatonin, the primary antioxidant in the brain, could be helpful and relieving. So let's see. Right. Okay. So if we're having challenges with brain atrophy and the loss of the use of one side of our body, so maybe from a stroke or from head trauma or from something else, one thing that I would certainly suggest that is light in general. Okay, so near infrared light, to now, and this is not a patching thing, but I want to make sure there are light helmets that can actually get near infrared light directly into the brain through the skull, and that could be something that could help with getting energy to the brain. I would definitely be using the X39 and the X49, absolutely, because of the improvement in blood flow. And we need more blood flow to that area. The reason that a brain will be shrinking is because it's not getting blood flow. Okay, so exercise is so important, and anything you can do, if it's just exercising one side of the body, that would be very helpful, because we make something called BDNF, which is brain-derived neurotrophic factor, big words that mean brain growth factor. Okay, exercise does that. So if one side of the body works, we want to try and work that one side to get the BDNF up, and then use X39, X49 patches, light on the cranium, which can move through, and that we're using around 1070 nanometers of wavelength of light. So, and of course, these are inflammatory. The YH trio is such an amazing promoter of healing also. If you can only use 2 patches, you use just the performance bundle, but if you can use more, if you have the ability to do that, I would be using the YH trio also on that. Okay, trigeminal neuralgia. Oh yes, this is a toughie, isn't it? Now, so this is a time that we are wanting to move energy and invoke healing, right? I feel like trigeminal neuralgia is something that requires time. It's not going to go away right with a patch, right? It would be hard for us to put a patch on today and for you to say, oh, I'm better. So we need to use the power of the X39 and the X49 for sure. And then here's another time that I might be using on either side, like putting maybe an Eon, and this is the YH trio, Eon, carnosine, glutathione, like behind the ear, right? Because that's coming right through that area. And then I'd be alternating. I'd switch the side, and then I would do, so you could do those patches at night if you wanted. Just make sure you're getting at least 12 hours. I think preferably 16. And then the other thing is meditation gives a clear benefit for trigeminal neuralgia. There is an app called Curable, C-U-R-A-B-L-E, Curable, that goes through chronic pain, and it gives different ways that you can help with pain by using meditation. But there's been studies showing improvement with meditation. So I would add something like that: mindfulness, breath work, meditation. Okay, so problems with the throat and vocal cords after radiation causing choking and slow swallowing. Another time I would be using, I sound like a broken record, but X39 for sure, right? This is also a muscle, and we know X49 grows muscle, not just improves blood flow, it improves muscle. So X39, 49, and the YH clover switching, like glutathione carnosine on one side with the Eon, just swapping them, alternating days, X39 and 49. And this, it's going to take time, right? So you can't give up on it, but it is very likely that this is going to improve. And I'm honestly, it's interesting, the whole muscle improvement. That's something, this is an involuntary muscle. Involuntary muscles still help. So you'd still do the speech therapy, visualization, right? So we want the person to begin to visualize that organized swallowing mechanism. Look at videos of a normal swallow. They have like a barium swallow. And if you watch those videos and the person is imagining themselves having that normal swallowing, doing it slowly, and that's going to get better. I hope. You can't say for sure, but I think it would. Okay. Well, good for you. You just started using the X39 for 6 days. I hope that is starting to make a difference. For me, it was probably a couple of weeks when I was like, this is a big difference. And so this is also a great question. And I'm interested in doing some studies around this in people with memory loss and dementia. The X39 was shown in the small study that LifeWave did to improve cognition in the short term. So we don't know really what it does in the long term. However, if you look on YouTube, there's some amazing testimonials of memory. I can probably let me find a YouTube, the link to that YouTube video really quick for you that you can look. It's just amazing. I have a testimony sheet where I try and I guess you guys probably have something like this, a testimony sheet where you are categorizing them by issues. And let me find that one here really quick, and I'll put it in the chat for you. So I put that a memory link in the chat. Okay, Curable. Yeah, it's Curable is the app, somebody asked. Right, nice. Okay, I jumped down to the bottom. Oh, wow. You guys got a lot. Okay, let me go back up and find where I was. I'm just kind of going through things. All right. Oh, with the shoulder exercises, when we're trying to do shoulder exercises and back exercises for our posture, gosh, I think that I would do at least once a day. And once a day is probably enough. So if somebody had skin itchiness after vaccines, taking antihistamines for 9 months and the itchiness remains. This is where when I think of skin rashes, I'm thinking of glutathione and X39. Okay, also the Eon. So those would be the three. X39 in general, because it's going to turn down the inflammation. Eon turns down inflammation. And the other thing, you know, I think that you want to look at is this person exposed to mold? I see a lot of people exposed to mold, and they, if they live in a place with a significant amount of a certain types of mold that will harm them, they can have itchiness that they're like, why in the world am I itching? Is it a food? Is it? So that's something you want to get people out. Glutathione can be helpful in that situation. So I think that when we're talking about strokes and aneurysms, I think that X39, X49 combo, because X49 helps the blood flow. It's another similar question. And then using that YH trio to help heal the tissues is really important. Now, vertigo is an interesting question. Vertigo for me is a toxicity issue. I feel like it's a toxicity issue. And so that in that instance, I will be using X39 on the back of the neck. And then behind the ear, I would be using the glutathione patch and the carnosine. And I might be swapping. I still think adding the Eon, that's why I love the trio, YH trio. Adding the Eon can be so helpful. It would be, so I feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over again, but well, it's because these work for many different issues because they are helping the cells to heal. But I would be placing behind the ear. Okay, is it better to patch according to acupuncture points? This is a great question. And of course, they used acupuncture points within their studies. And so that really is what LifeWave teaches. And when you look at the acupuncturists using the patches, I think they have great success for and so I'd say maybe, and the studies need to be done. Okay, so we need studies showing. David Schmidt, when I talked to him about it the first time I met him, I asked this question and he said, you know, you probably can put them near the area that needs help. Okay, that is what he said. I think when we're trying to use the paired patches, you know, the IceWave and the energy enhancers, those patches which really move energy, it's probably better to use those along meridians or points of pain, finding, you know, point on meridian that's tender. But I don't think the average person really knows acupuncture, acupressure. And so it's very freeing to say, you know, you really can put it near the area. It's going to have an effect. So we don't all have to be acupuncturists, right? All right, so here we have someone using X39 about 2 weeks, tried Eon 2 nights. Okay, should I continue with Eon or other patch? Generally, Moon, I would say what we'd want to do is add. So if the X39 can take time, if it's we don't know what it's going to work on in your body, right? It may be healing an internal organ. So if we can stack patches, I mean, I don't mean necessarily right on top of each other, but X39 as the base. Then I love the Eon, you know, try it different places, maybe center of the forehead, maybe at the temples, and play with it a little bit. If I was going to add another patch, the next patch I would be adding would be the Silent Nights for sure. And I would try and use the 3 of them. I suggest tracking, whether with your phone or with an Aura ring, or with some device that helps you see the change, because that makes it easier to really tell if we're sleeping better, okay? Okay, all right. So Moon, another good question. What patches, if someone has seizures or epilepsy, here I'm thinking about how do we calm the brain, right? And of course, as I mentioned, the title of a disease, there's no medical claims. We just want to think about how can we help the person's brain to heal itself with the information it has, all right? And in that instance, I would be the performance bundle X3949 because we're activating some healthier cells, activating healthier genes, and getting better blood flow. Many times with epilepsy, there's an issue with blood flow as well as overexcitation, irritability. So what calms down inflammation and irritability? That's the Eon patch, okay? The Eon patch. So I'd be using Performance Bundle and Eon patch. And then the next thing I think about, the next layer is that many times irritability in the brain can be caused by toxicity, okay? So the glutathione patch really helps with, the X39 helps detox, and the glutathione patch really helps. That glutathione patch can increase people's levels. In the study they did, it was up to 400%. Some people do not make enough glutathione to move toxins out of the body. And so if you understand that a supplement increases glutathione like 10 to 12%, and you could have potentially up to a 400% increase, it really can be quite helpful. And also the glutathione is one of the patches that that's nice that you could put it on and take it off, because some people cannot handle a long, what's going on, cannot handle a full day of glutathione, right? So just want to be a little careful with that glutathione. That is the one patch that I say be kind of careful with. Now, for depression, I would be using a combination here too. Of course, the Nirvana that increases our endorphins is an obvious go-to, but I would be pairing that with X39 and Eon, because so many times part of what's going on in our brain is that we have disordered connectivity, and X39 helps with that, from Dr. Chevalier's study showing a normalization of brain activity. And the other thing interesting, when we're trying to help depression, food is so important. Eating the right food that really nourishes fresh fruits and vegetables, because that's also going to help you make the serotonin, sending those feel-good vibes to your brain. Okay. With hives, Varen, so with hives and rashes and itchiness, X39 and Alavida. X39 and Alavida, very helpful. Also the Eon patch can be helpful, but that would be probably the three. X39 helps rashes, Alavida definitely, and then the Eon to bring the inflammation down. Make sure you're not in a moldy place. If you can get you in place. All right. Okay, so Evelyn asks, can we use the patches during immunotherapy treatment? I would not use the patches during, so I'm not sure exactly, T-cell infusion. If the immunotherapy is not destructive, right? It's not chemotherapy, then you can. If it's trying to boost your immune system, then that's fine, right? If in chemotherapy, we try and kill some stuff in our body, okay? And that's why we wouldn't apply the patch at the same time, the X39 patch, because we want the chemotherapy to go to work. Immunotherapy is different. We're really trying to boost the body's immune mechanisms. And so that in that instance, I think it would be fine for you to use the patch. There's not a contraindication. Okay, and I'm going to have to look up this medicine, Ryan. Let me look up that medicine real quick. Okay, So X39 and Eon patches are fine if you're on the Epilim. Okay, Ryan, that's for you. There's no contraindications with that medication. How many patches can we put on at once? What would you say, Susanna? How many? There's sometimes when I've got 6 patches on, you guys. So, so that I don't think there's a limit.
Actually, they have in different instruction. So that's why actually we can put any patches in the body, because our body will receive different message and different instruction. So like whole body detoxing, so we are using 9 patches a day. So it's okay. Yeah, day and night we separate. So that's why it just depends what your body situation. I think not because how many patches you need, just depends on your body situation. When you are doing the detoxing for the normal people, we're using just a week, 5 days. That's finished. A month, the maximum using 1 week only. Okay, but for some cancer patient or for some other serious disease, so they can repeat again for the detoxing purpose.
Right. Okay. Well, and I think that it's clear you can use a bunch of patches. And, I think that also the thing is that not coming from an acupuncturist background myself, that's why I've kind of, you see that I'm saying kind of the same thing over again, right? Very similar, whether it's pain, I have, an idea there. Whether if it's healing something up, right? We want to change what genes are expressed, use the performance bundle, the YH trio, and it does keep it simpler and you still get great results. So if you can do the nuanced patching, I love the detox patching is amazing and can be so helpful for people. Those protocols, there's some, I know Susanna has some, we have some protocols too for like heavy detox. And that is worthwhile for people to try. Okay, so which patch should I use if an MRI showed a meningioma? Okay, so once again, this is basically, we're talking about how do we heal the brain, and is it likely that you're going to shrink that meningioma? I think it's unlikely you're going to shrink the meningioma. I can't say, I don't know for sure. However, the function of the brain around the meningioma, which certainly there's inflammation around, that's something that if you're having symptoms from it, it really, really could. So, and in that instance, as I've talked about for like people who've had strokes or that sort of thing, the performance bundle X39, 49, and the YH trio. Susanna, what do you think about this? What would you say from an acupuncture point?
Actually, for the acupuncture points, in my book, in the back, I have a show whole body acupuncture point. So it just depends the people, because our body, even though we are same acupuncture location you patch, but different people, you need to understand our cell and our reaction will be different. So you have to try to patch. Somehow if the recommend point you not feel anything, you can just directly put the patches on the location you feel not comfortable.
Okay. So Mevlin, an uncle who's suffering from Parkinson's disease. There's also some neat testimonies. I'm going to share with you one from a reduction in tremor with Parkinson's. Let me grab that and I'll put it in the chat for you. Here's a link to a YouTube video about Parkinson's. So with Parkinson's, it would be X39, X49. Here I go. Definitely X39 and 49. X39 to turn on younger genes. There's many YouTube testimonies out there talking about a reduction in tremor. And then the X49, improving the blood flow to the head. I also think that carnosine, is when I think of nerve issues, I think of carnosine. And then Parkinson's, I think of toxicity. So that naturally brings us back to eon for inflammation, carnosine for healing, and glutathione for detoxification with Parkinson's. If you're just going to pick one patch, it's the X39, just one patch. That will in itself can give significant improvement in people's symptoms. And if you're going to, and then also look into a walking program, right? There's a great book, I think it's something like How I Walked Off Parkinson's, how a person who had significant problems walking started a walking program. And I think this is probably a worldwide movement now, but that would be what I would say. Let's see, let me find myself in the questions. Okay, using X39 eon glutathione carnosine IceWave, 2 months. All right, and okay, so, and then, but yet to show any prominent results for back pain. I think that this is a time that one question is where are you placing them? All right, that's one important thing. Where are you placing them? And at this, I would probably consider adding an energy enhancer and think about whether or not their energy enhancer would be important. And this is the time where adding, I imagine you're doing some low back exercises, posture exercises, but knowing that these on their own will not correct something that's being promoted by a posture issue. Okay, so if part of your back pain is coming from problems with posture, you have to be working on that at the same time. So that's why the back strengthening exercises are so important. And I would stay the course 2 months, especially if this has been a long-standing pain. Continue, add your, make sure you're doing your exercises, okay, and then let's add the energy enhancers, and I might be adding them on the balls of the feet, possibly adding them on either side of the injury on top of the IceWave, stacking IceWave, stacking energy enhancers on top, and then making sure you're doing your exercises.
I think I also will recommend that to keep hydrated, because some people, they don't drink water. So if you not keep hydrated, no extra cell for your body. Our body, 70% is water. If you not keep hydrated, the patches not work so effective. So this is the important part. So if you can keep 1 hour, 1 cup of water, the result will be totally different.
Such a good point, Susanna. Thank you so much. And then, which also makes you, wants us to remind, if you are, nourishment, movement, all those things are going to help the back pain. So make sure you're eating well too. Okay, so someone asks, is it good to start with X39 for trigeminal neuralgia, or should I start with another patch? I would start with the X39. Yep, I sure would. And then I would also, I might be using it behind the ear. Because on the side of the issue, and I would start with that patch for sure. What do you think, Susanna? Any thoughts on that?
In the face, you can put eon and carnosine, which is will help. You will feel the pain gone in a short moment.
Yeah. So and that in this instance, this might be a time that you would stack them. Right, you could stack them right there, right in front of the ear, where that nerve is coming. Okay. So are there people who respond well at the beginning and later feel like they've lost the effect? What is interesting is this is a phenomenon. And what happens is people forgot how they felt. I mean, in general, that's what's happening is that when you start to peel layers off of the onion, and you aren't tracking, like, how I used to feel, that it's harder to notice. And so, like, after 3 years of use, one of the big benefits of doing these as a person who's feeling, now I'm feeling normal, is now I can get stronger, right? And so when we move people who are feeling crummy to feeling normal, they're like, I'm feeling normal now, and you're just feeling normal. The potential to get stronger is what we have to start to take advantage of, right? Like, to use the new products that are coming out. You guys, these amazing sprays that are going to be coming out next month, the Shine and the Dream, are going to be huge game changers, bringing energy and better sleep and cooler dreams too. So I think that it is a phenomenon, especially if you've been using them for a while, and the way that we keep our faith that it is the right thing to do. If you go to a convention and you see all the people who have been using these patches for an extended period of time, what you see is they look younger than their stated age. They act younger than their stated age. So they are extremely vibrant people. And it helps you see that this is what's possible if I use this for the long term. But I think that it's true. And it depends on what kind of effect we're talking about, Varen. Would patching, here's a question, would patching X39 and Y age cause detoxing effects? Okay, so finger, toes, nails turning blue-black, blisters. Sometimes when we begin to detox, we clear things through our skin. And now I have not seen color change like that. I wouldn't say that it is totally out of the question. Many times we have to get things out of our body, and our body does it in different ways. And certainly rashes can happen in the healing process. That is a thing. And Susanna, what's your experience with this?
Actually, we have to do it when we heal our body and repair the cell. We will start have a healing crisis for some people. So the healing crisis is growthful. So result is you're going to heal totally. But in between that, you will have up and down. And your skin may be like some skin allergy will more serious because all the toxic coming out on just a short moment. Our patches, our X39, and also the glutathione will bring your detoxing quicker than the normal. So that's why we will recommend, just like Dr. Linda said, glutathione, some people react very sensitive. So I will recommend the first time you try one patch a week first to observe what happened to your body. So if you can take it, you can keep a week 3 times, but you can't take it. Maybe you just use one time or just few hours. So some people, first time using the glutathione, they need to go toilet for the boo-boo for 6 to 7 times a day. Although there's no stomach pain, but they are really detoxing. But they said that after that, they feel very nice. The whole body feel very energy bad, feel good. But for the doing that processing, some people will feel, oh, no, I don't want it. Okay, so that's why using the patches, some people will have some healing crisis. So, but in the healing crisis in my book, for the last few pages, I mentioned about healing crisis from the head to the toe. Okay, I also consult with the doctor, so that's why I put all the symptoms on the book. So you can check what the symptom you have and which is doing which healing status. Okay.
That's great. Thank you so much, Susanna. So what do you use for shingles? So shingles is, we think it's an infection, right? It's a virus. So we want to help our immune system. Certainly the X39 is going to be a help. And then, of course, the trifecta, the Eon, the glutathione, the carnosine are, when I'm sick, that's what I've got on my body. So I'm interested, did you do some specific patch testing for the shingles? Susanna, didn't you? Did I see something in here for shingles?
Yes, in the book, I have the shingle. So you can check with but I forget the pages. So let me find it and then I get back to you. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to hear what you guys tested, because this was really the book, you guys, is such an advanced idea. In America, we don't have a book like this.
Yeah. I using 4 months just not sleep at night. It's every day at night and just sit down to read everything and then make it like a record. So for the shrinkle, you can using the glutathione, because actually it's some toxin in your body, and also the carnosine, and I will recommend energy enhancer and X39.
Yes, that sounds really great, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so a young man has nerve damage after a car accident. Right arm can't move or lift up. Okay, so the one thing, I mean, certainly what we've been talking about is using the performance bundle for brain issues. And I also want to share for this other idea for you, which is called mirror therapy. Okay, this is so important and little known. I'm going to share a link for you. Okay. This is, and you may have heard of mirror therapy, but what it is, I'm going to give you, this is a study. Here we go. All right, that's a study where what they did was they took people who couldn't move an arm and they put a mirror on the side where they couldn't move the arm, and then they lifted the other arm. So in their mind, it looked like they were lifting both arms. Okay, so it tricked their brain into thinking that it could move again. Okay, so this is really it's just such a great idea. What happens in our brain when we stop moving, whether it's from a stroke or a car accident, is that our brain thinks, oh, it can't move again. So in order to patch for that, we're going to want to use the energy enhancers for sure. I would be using, if it's a limb, if it's an arm, we'd be using the on the arms, the energy enhancer, and then we'd be using mirror therapy, right? You get a mirror on the side that's not working and the person is using the one that is, their brain starts to see, oh, I am moving my arm. And then as they're doing the mirror therapy, they're trying to move their arm in their brain. And then, definitely the X39 patch, definitely the X49 I would be using. And let me see, I think, and then carnosine, well, yeah, the YH trio, I really like for anything brain related, right? The glutathione, carnosine heals nerves, right? Eon to reduce the inflammation. So, but if one patch to rule them all, that's always the X39. Use the mirror therapy, and I put that, Ruth, down in the chat. Grab that. It's the paper that talks about it, but you can just do it on your own. Get a mirror. Oh, okay. And so I see someone asking about patches for autism in children. Such a big and important topic, and I'm going to share with you, in case you haven't seen this autism. Here is a testimony for autism testimony. Marcy Super Preble. I like to tell, this is to everyone, okay, talking about sharing with, about helping her son. And so we're using the X39 for sure. And then, the Eon, I also like the Nirvana. So that it, with the other thing with autism is that in integrative holistic thinking, it's probably part of the problem is or the brain cannot remove toxins adequately. So glutathione is very, very helpful with clients that have problems with moving toxins out. So now again, we use carnosine for healing in the brain and nerves, glutathione for detoxification carefully, as Susanna has said. Eon brings down inflammation, and X39. I mean, I think the performance bundle, if you can do all that, if you can use X39, 49, but with kids, I think starting slowly is a good idea. Trying one patch at a time and then making sure that they're feeling okay. Susanna, do you have any thoughts about this specifically?
So for the autism, actually, I have a few cases. I will recommend them using the X39 and also the carnosine. It's a must, these two. And also EON. So I have some autism kids, they find that more active and they are more systematic to present. This is what amazed the parents. Because they are every day, they said that the kids after patching, I think within just a month, they are organized, change. They are more organized on their verbal, and then they can think more systematic. And I also have one case is a Down syndrome. So I think that I will invite her to present to share with us later on. So the mother beginning don't trust the product, but I say that I piece to her, let the kids try 3 months. 3 months
Yes.
continually, just X39 and carnosine, these two. I said to her, if she has some emotion issue, add EON. Okay, so just 2 months, her mother sharing with me, respond me with tears, say that thank you, you asked me to continue. Because the first month, nothing she see, nothing. So she even don't want to give up. She said that, okay, just seems that no work. But I say that try give her 3 months. If 3 months you no work, and then you are financially cannot support, count on me. I just hope that you give your kids 3 months time to try. The second month she cried to me. She said to me, thank you. She said my children can present whole world, and then she like to sing, and she start to sing and start to dance, and then tell the mom, hey mom, I want to become a dancer. You know, so touching me. And then I'm almost cry out because it's in our bottom of our hearts. Why we need to do LifeWave? We are giving people a hope, but the cell cannot repair in just a month. It's a step by step. And the healing, not just today or tomorrow, it needs time, and every people different. So when you ask us, and I even to ask Dr. Linda, she's in clinical field, she's from a nurse to a doctor. You know, her journey is so long, but we can't answer you when you are totally healed, because it depends on your body and your cell, and your organs need time to repair. So that's why we just hope that you give a chance for yourself and your people surrounding you to share and let them understand. It may help them totally heal. So I will invite these parents, the parents and the children, because the girl can ask me, Susanna, hello, I love you, Susanna. So touching. You know.
Nice. Oh, it's that. I mean, it really can be life changing for people. And the other thing is, so if people are not noticing, let's say someone does come, they've tried it for a couple of months and they're still not having that shift. We make sure they're hydrated, make sure they have adequate protein, so important, and they're nourishing themselves, and then know that. Of all the people I have met, one person who used the patches for a long time, and I believe it probably had something to do with copper processing in the body. We need to have enough copper in order to make the X39 work, right? So, possibly looking at a copper/zinc supplement. Usually we'd give those together. And giving the person hope that, some people don't have results until after 3 months. I heard a brain injury testimony of somebody who felt a little better after a couple months, but kept trying. And then at a year, they had regained really 50% of the function that they had lost before. So it's worth staying the course. And a last quick touch on knee pain. Knee pain is so hard because it keeps us from doing life, right? Especially when both knees are bothering us. And that's, in that instance, I would be using the X39, X49 because strengthening the muscles will also help reduce the knee pain. So that's why we use the performance bundle there. Activate the stem cells, increase the muscle strength that is supporting the knees. And then Eon, glutathione, and carnosine. And if it's possible, and we're talking about trying to get the joint better enough so that we don't have to necessarily have a replacement, I might be doing that intensively on both knees to see how much traction you can get while you are doing isometrics to strengthen the knees. Okay. So you guys, I'm going to have to jet off though. What a great meeting. You guys are amazing. Susanna, I could learn so much from you. And just thank you for letting me be a part of this wonderful morning.
So Dr. Linda, we are so great to have you tonight to share with us. I know that you are going back to your clinic soon, and I hope that we can have a next time to invite you again to our Zoom meeting.
I would love that.
So very, very happy to have you. So everyone, say thank you to our Dr. Linda. This is really great. Doctor, you know that a lot of clinical doctors, they don't want to touch with LifeWave, even they don't want to listen because they think that is not their field. So Dr. Linda is someone special, excellent presentation, and will have a very good heart to share with us. So very much thank you. Very much thank you.
Thank you so much, Susanna. Have a wonderful day, everybody.
Have a wonderful day, everyone. Okay. Have a good day. Okay. God bless you.
Bye. God bless.
Bye-bye. Thank you. So everyone, I will try my best to invite Dr. Linda in our Zoom meeting because she's going to the clinic and then it takes a long time tonight. So I think all of us is very happy have her to explain more to us, and we understand a lot. Actually, not only in the clinical side, also in the business part. Because if we can tell the people they can earn some money through their share, when their testimonial, when they get well, they share their own testimonial, they can get some income from LifeWave. So it is so beautiful and the benefit to them, and they can use the product and also save time, save energy, and then they on the same time they can earn some income. This is a good idea I hope that everyone, we start to share, not only because we want to earn money, because it's when we share, we can give someone a hope, and you can change their life. So we are all as a life changers. I hope that tonight you get something, you learn something, and we see you next week. Coming, I will invite a lot of speakers in global, and I hope that everyone we can join and learn from different country leader. Okay, so try our best, and then we try to shine the others. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for a long night.